Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into some new signals that suggest Tesla might finally be on the verge of scaling its robotaxi service. It really feels like we're at a tipping point, and the latest signs, they're all pointing towards a major move. I mean, for years, this has been the big question, right? But now, you've got this combination of recent safety data, some very pointed comments from executives, and frankly, massive supply chain investments that are painting a whole new picture. Okay, let's dive in. So first up, and you could argue this is the most critical piece of the puzzle, it's all about safety. Is the system actually safe enough to be deployed on a massive nationwide scale? You probably remember the headlines from late last year. The media was all over 5 crashes that involved Tesla's full self-driving system. And that, of course, really stoked some serious safety fears. But then the latest data release came out, and it tells a very different story. In the entire month that followed, there was only one new incident reported. And get this, it was just a super low-speed, light bump when a car up ahead slowed down suddenly. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. We have to be super clear here. This data is not normalized. That means it's not a direct apples-to-apples comparison based on miles driven or the number of cars on the road. But even so, the raw numbers are pretty striking. Just 1 for Tesla compared to 97 for Waymo in that same period. So the crucial point that analysts are taking away from this data is that safety just doesn't seem to be the bottleneck anymore. The evidence for some kind of widespread accident problem, it's just not there. Okay, so that's safety. Let's move on to the next signal, and you can see how this all starts to connect. There's this growing and very public debate about the core technology itself, basically the right philosophy for how you even achieve autonomy. And this really brings 2 completely different philosophies into sharp focus. On one side, you have Waymo's leadership basically calling for the government to create a national standard. Now, a lot of people see that as a push to make their own sensor-heavy approach to the law of the land. Then, on the other side, you have a Tesla AI manager saying pretty bluntly that their system is advanced enough to handle tricky situations like a school bus without needing a human to remotely intervene. And this quote just brilliantly nails Tesla's core argument. The company is betting the farm that the key to real, scalable autonomy isn't one specific sensor, like LiDAR. No, it's all about the power and the intelligence of the central AI that's processing all the visual data. It's about the brain of the car. But, a vision is one thing. You need a physical foundation to make it real. And that brings us to our third and maybe most powerful signal, the absolutely massive infrastructure being built right now to support this thing at scale. Elon Musk couldn't be clearer about his vision on this. He truly believes the future belongs to companies that are built from the ground up around artificial intelligence. He thinks they're just going to outperform everybody else, period. And listen, this isn't just talk. This vision is being backed by huge industrial investment. After Tesla said they needed a massive supply of chips, Samsung didn't just build one giant facility for them in Texas. They've now announced they're actually moving ahead with a second one. This is clear, tangible proof that they're preparing to produce AI hardware at a scale we've just never seen before. So when you put all these signals together, the improving safety data, this really confident and distinct tech strategy, and a supply chain that's exploding, how are we supposed to make sense of this moment? Well, some analysts are starting to frame this whole situation as a clash of the bubbles. The idea is pretty simple. We're kind of past the point of speculation. We are barreling towards a moment of truth, where one of 2 completely opposite stories is about to collapse. So on one hand, you've got the bull bubble. These are the folks who see all these signals, and they believe a massive deployment of unsupervised robotaxis is right around the corner, like we're talking months away. But on the other hand, you have the bear bubble, and they believe this whole thing is a delusion that will never, ever truly work. And according to this theory, there's just no middle ground left. It's a pretty dramatic setup, isn't it? Tesla keeps making cars designed for autonomy, and they've convinced their partners to build multiple giant factories just to power them. They're taking action at a massive scale, and that suggests a huge move is coming. It really has to be one of 2 things, either a massive deployment or a massive pileup of cars that can't do what they were built for. So the only question left is, which bubble is about to pop?